Welcome to this longer video that is a great stretch for runners. Take your feet straight out in front of you. Take your hands palm up by your thighs. Then let your head be very heavy. We're going to be in this pose for a while, so don't go into your deepest expression of the pose right away. Let time and gravity bring your head towards the floor. This pose will help to stretch out your back and your hamstrings. We're also working on our digestion in this flow. The compressing and decompressing of our stomach may help move things along. I want you to think about the mantra, I easily digest life, throughout this practice. Your feet can point straight up towards the ceiling. They can fall out towards the side. Just make sure you're not contracting any of the muscles in your leg. Let them be soft. Let your back round. Let your head be heavy, pointing towards your mat as you go slowly deeper and deeper into this pose. I digest life with joy. slowly take your hands back to the mat. Bring your head up back towards the ceiling. Bring your feet to the mat. Come into a tabletop position. Bring your left arm parallel to the top of your mat. Bend your right foot, reach back and take a hold of it. Remember, you're not trying to force this stretch. You're just holding on to that ankle or the top of your foot and letting time do the work for you. You also have the option of coming all the way down to your mat and placing your head on your bent arm. This is going to get into your quads. You'll notice me looking at my watch and fiddling with my watch at the start and the end of each pose. I'm just using my Garmin VivoActive 3 as a timer. Because yes, I'm a runner too. Let go of your foot. Roll onto your side, your bent elbow on your mat. And then slowly begin to straighten out that hand with your legs on top of each other and your other arm just propped up on the mat for support. You should feel a really nice stretch along the side of your body. Carefully begin to bring your feet towards the mat, bringing yourself into the center of your mat. Take the soles of your feet together. Bring them a little ways out from your body. And you can hold onto your ankles here, or you can raise your knees a little. Turn your palms so that they're facing up towards the ceiling, and thread your arms underneath your legs. I really like to do butterfly pose that way. I find it to be very relaxing. This is another pose that we're going to be here for a while. It's a great pose to really go within yourself. Look deep within yourself. Think about what you really want. What are you digesting? What are you watching on TV? What movies are you going? What are you reading? Is that all serving you? And again, don't come into the deepest expression of this pose right away. We're not trying to contract our muscles. We're not trying to muscle our way into the pose. We're letting time soften all our connective tissue and very slowly getting into them, stretching them out, increasing our mobility and our range of motion. Thinking again, I digest life with joy. As time goes on, you should feel yourself going deeper into this pose. You should feel your back really softening and your head pointing more and more towards the floor, getting closer and closer to your mat. Think about all your worries just pouring out onto that mat, coming out of your head, leaving you feeling relaxed and calm and joyful. Slowly begin to straighten out your back. If your arms are underneath your calves, slowly bring them back towards your body. Take your hands to your knees and push them together. Come to a tabletop position. Stretch your legs out straight behind you. And this time bend your right arm parallel to the front of your mat. Bend your left leg towards the ceiling. Reach back. Grab hold of your ankle or the top of your foot. If you can't reach your foot, just bending the leg should help you get into that quad. And you can also, of course, use a strap. You'll notice that I have a blanket to the side of my mat, and soon we're going to be using that as a little prop. You don't have to use it in that pose, but you might want to have a blanket with you in the beginning. Again, you have the option to take your head down to your bent arm. This can help you get a little further into your quad just by bringing the head down, not by trying to bring your foot closer to your butt. Let go of your foot. Bring your hands to the mat. Prop yourself up over onto your side. Legs one on top of the other. And slowly straighten your arm so you're propping up your body. And once again, getting into that side body. Letting it relax. Thanking it for all the hard work it's done for you this day. I digest life with joy. Begin to bring your feet back to your mat. Turn to face the front of your mat. We're coming into deer pose, and this is the pose you might want a blanket for. If you don't have one, you can always pause the video and go and get one. Take your left leg parallel to the top of your mat. Bend your right leg so that it comes out perpendicular to that front leg. And then slowly twist towards your left, laying down over that front bent leg, placing your forearms onto the blanket. The blanket is just there to help you really relax into this pose. Once again, we're compressing our stomach, and we're also doing a little twist. And all of these things can sometimes help our digestion move along. They're also very, very calming. Very slowly bring your hands back towards the floor. Bring your bent legs forward. Move your blanket or any prop that you have to the second side. You can use a block instead of a blanket. Take your right leg and bend it so that it's parallel to the top of the mat. Your left leg comes straight out from your hip, and it bends so that your foot is pointing towards the back of your mat. Slowly twist on over towards that right side and come on down to your forearms, or maybe all the way down on your chest. Letting go, letting the blanket and your mat support you. I digest life with joy. Slowly bring your hands back to the floor, bringing your legs straight out in front of you, keeping them bent, taking the soles of your feet to your mat. We're coming into seated swan, which you may also know as seated pigeon or figure 4. Bend your left leg, take your ankle over your right leg, not on the knee, just above the knee, making sure that that foot is actually hanging out over your leg and that the foot is flexed. And you have your option how close you want to be to your legs. The closer you are, the more compression there is. And also, you should feel it a bit more into your hips, into your IT band. If you take your hands back a little bit more, it'll feel a little easier and be a slightly less stretch. Full pigeon or full swan can be very difficult on your knees. It's a great pose for runners, but it can be very difficult for a lot of people. This is a more accessible pose for many people. Keeping your legs the way they are, slowly come down to your elbows and then all the way down to your back. You may want to take the foot that's on the mat a little closer to yourself and then just let the top leg fall over to the side. Reach down and if you can, grab a hold of your ankle, bring it just a little closer to your body and stretch your other arm up and over your head, really relaxing that shoulder into the floor. This is a really great stretch to get into your IT band. It's one of my favorite stretches. I could stay in this stretch all day long. If your bottom leg is off the floor, you may want to take either a block or a blanket or even a rolled up towel and just put it underneath, and that'll let your leg relax so you're not contracting your muscles and you're getting the full benefit of this practice. Slowly let go of that bottom foot. Bring both feet back to the mat. Take your right leg and cross it over your left. Flexing the right foot, making sure that that's hanging out over your leg. Bringing yourself up to an upright seated position, as close or far from your legs as is comfortable for you. Closer will give you a little more stretch, further will make it a little easier. Also, you can play around in the first minute with the positioning of your hands. Do they feel better pointing towards your body? Do they feel better pointing away from your body? We are supposed to feel sensation in yin poses. In this pose, we're trying to stretch our hip and our IT band. That's where we want to feel most of the sensation. But our arms are propping us up, and we're going to feel it there, and that's okay. Slowly bend your arms, coming down to your elbows, and then lying completely on your back. Let that top foot fall over towards the floor. If you can, reach down, grab hold of that ankle. Pull it just a little closer to yourself, which will increase the stretch. Take your other arm, bring it up and over your head. Let your shoulders really melt down into your mat. Let yourself be really supported by the mat. I digest life with joy. Always make sure you're not rushing through your transitions. Take them slowly, carefully. Let your body have some time to unwind. Maybe you need to do some movements between poses, and that's fine. You can always pause the video and do what feels natural to you. Slowly bring your foot back to the mat. We're going to move into legs up the wall. Totally roll to one side, push yourself up. I invite you to grab a block to put underneath your sacrum. I was not able to do it in this practice because I decided to use the desk that was right there. So you can do this without a wall. Just bring your legs straight up to the wall. If you're using the wall, get your hips as close as possible to it. And then swing your legs up. I found that the desk was not strong enough for me to be able to press against it. So if you're using a block, just press against the wall, lift your hips a little bit, and slide the block underneath your sacrum. It feels really, really nice. Legs up the wall is a great move whenever you've been very active to restore a little energy to your tired legs. And we're also slowly going to open up our legs as we're in this practice after we've been up the wall for a little bit. And slowly let them begin to fall open. And that's a pose that's called dragonfly. And that's a nice inner thigh stretch, as well as an inner groin stretch. You can let legs up the wall be your last pose for this video. I'm going to guide you into Savasana, corpse pose, as well. And I really invite you to stay through towards the end of the video to really reap the benefits of the calming, meditative, relaxing practice. But if you don't have time, legs up the wall is really going to help you calm down and get a little more energy before you go into the rest of your day. Let your legs fall wide if you want to. Once again, we're not trying to force them. We're just letting them fall open to wherever they fall. And slowly over time, they're going to probably stretch a little deeper. I digest life with joy. Slowly bend your legs on the wall, carefully rolling over onto your side. If you have a bolster or a pillow, you can grab that now. Put it underneath your legs, under your knees. Slowly come down to your back. Bring your arms out a little way from your sides, palms up. Let everything fall open. Relax your forehead. Soften your eyes and your jaw. Relax your neck. Feel your shoulders melting into the mat. Feel your stomach relax, your hips supported by the mat. Feel your knees really pushing into that bolster, being supported by that bolster. Feel your calves relax. Soften your feet. I want you to think a little bit about digestion. Digestion is really important to runners. Think about if you're fueling yourself the way you need to be. Think about if you need to be making better choices with the fuel that you use for your runs. And also think about digestion, as I mentioned earlier in this practice, for other things. How are you digesting your emotions? How are you digesting the books you read, the blog posts you read, the movies you choose to watch? All of those things are things that you digest, and they can serve you or not. Digestion isn't always about what we eat, but it's always about what we consume. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, circling your wrists and your ankles. Take a nice big stretch with your arms over your head. Pull one knee towards your chest. Pull the other knee towards your chest. Maybe push your legs back and forth a little bit to release your low back. Rolling over onto your side with your eyes closed, cradling your head with your arm. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly push yourself up into an easy seated position. Bring your hands to your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you liked this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like more, please click the subscribe. Namaste.